welcome back to Oversteer Auto Reviews. Today I'm back in Mercedes-Benz of Seattle to review this absolutely immaculate looking 2022 Mercedes AMG SL63 Roadster, the R232 chassis, which has a complete redesign for the 2022 model year. Now without further ado, let's break this vehicle down and complete a review. Up front is where you will see the most clear parts of the new Mercedes design language, especially with this Panama Arcana grille, which has the black inserts because this does have the night package, not the extended night package, because the extended night package gives you all of the badges and the sides of the wheels painted in black. Now you do have the driver's assistance package, which does give you a front camera and all of the parking sensors. One thing that is also very nice about this vehicle is that it has the AMG aerodynamics package, which gives us an increased airflow into the body of the vehicle and the engine itself. And there's also a 5-pound carbon fiber panel underneath the vehicle, which drops down at speeds above 50 miles an hour by 1.6 inches to direct air beneath and on the sides of the car to increase its downforce. This is good if you're driving on straight roads at higher speeds and on the track as well. This module right over here, housing the Mercedes-Benz logo, also has the radar cruise control module. You can see the very large intercooler and the radiators on both open vents. One thing that is nice about this vehicle is that all of the vents are 100% functional. You also have the LED headlights made by Mercedes-Benz, the LED running strip, and then the regular xenon headlights in the center. One thing that most people don't actually know about Mercedes vehicles is that you have a sort of parallel parking emergency but not emergency light, and what that's used for is if you are parked on the side of the street, let's say in downtown London or on Rodeo Drive in Los Angeles, you can actually put the lights into parking mode, and what that'll do is it'll turn on the light to allow people to know that your vehicle is parked on the side of the road in a night setting. Underneath the hood of the SL63, you will find the M178 V8 bi-turbo engine, which is handcrafted in Germany. You can see here by Maximilian Bees. And this engine outputs 577 horsepower and 590 pound-feet of torque. That, paired with the Mercedes AMG Speed Shift multi-clutch 9G 9-speed automatic transmission, a handful of words, propels the vehicle to 60 miles an hour in around 3.5 seconds. With all of this combined, you get a top speed of 196 miles an hour. Keep in mind that this is a soft top roadster and you're doing nearly 200 miles an hour at around 6,000 RPMs, which is very impressive. Now, some of you might ask, what is a bi-turbo engine as opposed to a twin turbo? Now, a twin turbo engine just means that the engine is a V8 with 2 turbos, but a bi-turbo means that the turbos are both alongside each other in the inner channel of the V configuration of the engine, as you can see placed right over here, right behind this enormous AMG badge and Mercedes emblem. One thing I did notice about the SL63 is that there are strut bars in both areas of the engine. Overall, I think that the Mercedes V8 bi-turbo engines fare really well. They are pretty reliable in terms of the German segment, and they sound really good. At the wheels, we have the AMG Y-spoke forged in black wheels. This is due to the AMG night package. These are 275 millimeters in width with a 35 sidewall and a 21-inch diameter, which is crazy, especially when you look at the brakes in comparison to the wheel, which are huge. And these aren't even the carbon ceramics, which cost $8,000. And I don't really think that you need them because these brakes are very snappy. The tires themselves are ZR rated, meaning that you can drive above speeds of 186 miles an hour, which is absolutely absurd, and I have no idea how the US regulation still lets these tires in. The vehicle also has a front axis lift system, part of the AMG Performance Group, and what that does is it raises the front axle by 1.2 inches to give you additional ground clearance when needing to go over speed bumps or any raised surfaces. The side profile of the SL is where the sheer beauty of this vehicle shines. The 21-inch wheels, along with these very nice fender arches, moving back all the way with this main body line continuing from there all the way into the taillights, these lower body lines into the rear fender arches, and the lower black side skirt which is black, along with these fake vents on the side, and the overall window trim and black mirrors are a part of the AMG night package. Now, if this does not have the extended night package, meaning that the badges remain silver or chrome, however you'd like to say it. The color on this vehicle is a $2,000+ option. It is the manufacturer Alpine Gray, and in my opinion, it looks really good, kind of like Porsche's Shark or Audi's Nardo Gray. The main thing about the vehicle that everyone buys it for is the soft top, or in previous generations, the hardtop convertible, and there are many note things about this in relation to the vehicle's key. Now, the vehicle is currently locked, and like previous Mercedes vehicles, it has keyless entry. So if I have the key in my hand, I can simply lock and unlock the doors and step inside. Now, this has a different element to it. Now, in previous Mercedes vehicles and modern ones as well, if you have the key and it's not a soft top or a convertible in general, you can raise and lower the windows and sunroof by using the key. All you have to do is hold the unlock button. But with this vehicle, you can actually do it with the roof, if it works. Now, the system of this vehicle is relatively finicky. Once you do it with everything started up in the vehicle through the main infotainment system, it works. But when not doing it, sometimes it just won't, which is something tricky, but it does work for sure with this vehicle. Now, besides that, everything does look really good. The soft top can be retracted or put up at speeds of up to 35 miles per hour, and in my opinion, that's a really high speed. I believe the Ferrari 458 Italia limits you to 18 miles an hour, which is rather abysmal. Overall, I love the styling of this vehicle. I do wish that the extended night package were applied to this vehicle so that all of the chrome would disappear, although I do like these specific Y-spoke wheels in silver more than I do in black. Now, this is a soft top vehicle, and if I didn't show you how the top retracts, it would be rather criminal of me. So I've started the vehicle, I pushed the main button to open the convertible top settings, and based on that, I can swipe my finger to either side in order to prompt the vehicle to open the top. Now, the first thing you will notice is the little winglets attached from the inside. The soft top goes all the way back down, and then the little winglets rather beautifully slide back into place, and I get a message in the infotainment system telling me that the soft top has been retracted. Now, one thing I don't like about this is that I have to hold the soft top function all the way in order for it to close fully. I wish it was just a toggle switch that I could just hit once and forget about. The other thing with the soft top is that the infotainment screen can actually flip at an angle to reduce sun glare and give you a better infotainment experience while driving the car. I think that's a really good thing, even though I do not like the modern MBUX display system over the previous generation ones. That is something I'll point out in the entertainment and overall interior review. But in a soft top perspective, the sound damping when it is up is really nice, and when it's down, you actually have a nice feature like this air scarf right over here, which will blow hot air or cold air depending on whatever I want while I'm driving to give me additional comfort. It's great in the colder seasons, especially in Washington, where it's only about above 70 degrees for around 2 to 3 months. Lighting is a huge part about modern Mercedes vehicles, and you can see that right over here. The actual handle is illuminated, and once I do open the door, I'm greeted with an AMG stripe running across the side, as well as the AMG on the door sill is also illuminated. Another thing is that the lights actually do a little dance when you start the vehicle in front of a wall. The SL's rear was really iconic back in the 2012 era when they released the SL65 Black Series. Now, this is a modern SL with a 4-liter V8 instead of a 6.5-liter V12 twin-turbo engine, but the modern Mercedes design language does look really beautiful on the car. Most apparent is the pentagonal exhaust tips, quad tips in total, duals on each side with the black diffuser and the Alpine gray paint. It really pops. You also have the SL63 badge on the right. Notice there's no S, and the AMG logo on the left with a Mercedes emblem in the center. You also have the retractable spoiler, which does have a really interesting angle. I will show you that right now, which can be adjusted from the infotainment system, and it does flip up at higher speeds to increase downforce. You also have the reverse light embedded into the rear spoiler area, and you have the license plate bracket as well. Popping the trunk like so, you can see that there is also an interesting opening fashion as it goes pretty much vertical. Now, interior trunk space is big enough for the US regulation to put the human release button in here, but really I don't know if I'll be able to do a trunk test, but regardless, I'm going to try without damaging this $200,000 vehicle. And I did fit somehow, but there is no way this is gonna close. Therefore, I will call it a trunk test fail. There are some nice amenities, and overall, a okay trunk. I'd probably fit 2 carry-ons, depending on how large they are, with no issue whatsoever, even with the top down. You have the electronic trunk opening and closing button, and the close and lock button as well. Now it is time to do what every automotive journalist dreads with vehicles like these, and that is getting into the back seats. Because yes, this is a 4-seater. Not a good one, but alas, it is a 4-seater. The first thing I notice is that there is 0 knee room, and my hip flexors are flexed all the way. Actually, not with this. It's actually not that bad, but it is pretty bad. I'd only last about a grocery trip in this, and that is it. Considering it's not Costco, which is around 12 miles away from my house, and in that case, it would be pretty bad. Now, these seats are really upright, almost inclining forward of sorts. There's no amenities back here, just some speakers and a seat belt. The other thing is you'd have to watch your head when you sit back here, because these flaps do go all the way here, so it'd probably whack my neck if I tried to close the roof right now. But this is a useful feature if you did need to have people back here, especially shorter people at 5'10", 5'11". It's usable, but not the best. The driver would definitely have to move their seat forward, but again, it's nice to have these rear seats. Are on the interior of the 2022 SL63, and I'd say it is a really nice place to be. The thing is that there are lots of high quality materials, most notably this carbon fiber trim, which is a $2,850 option. It's on the side grab handles and the center console area, and I don't know if it's worth it over the regular aluminum, piano black, and wood trims, but it does look really good, and this is 100% authentic carbon fiber. You have Napa leather on the dashboard, and you have suede on the headliner and the steering wheel itself, which is an extra option for $0. You have the AMG control options, which turn on once you turn the vehicle on. They give you the AMG logos when you turn them on, and then from there you can change your drive modes, like the screen will prompt over here. And once you go into Sport Plus or track mode, the exhaust valves open, and the vehicle gets substantially louder. A couple revs right here. Throwing that back into comfort mode. You also have an exhaust button right over here, which you can control that with. You can also change the stiffness of the suspension, and alongside that you can change it from automatic to manual mode with the 9-speed automatic transmission, as well as the auto start system and the rear wing, along with AMG Dynamics and the front aerodynamics package splitter. The wheel has the modernized AMG winglets, meaning that you have your right screen controls on this side along with your call options, and on the left side you have this digital gauge cluster option along with your radar cruise control module over here. The bottom of the steering wheel is flat bottomed and it says AMG in black lettering. The steering wheel paddles are really, really nice, super tactile, and I like the sound they make as well. You also have the ambient lighting. I do wish that it wrapped around the back, but this is a nice ambient lighting setup. I personally have it in purple because I think that it matches really nicely with the alpine gray color on the exterior. Looking at the door panel, we have the Burmester 3D high-end surround system, and we have the non-moving but haptic seat controls, which takes some getting used to, but these work really well. You also have all of your mirror switch options. Moving into this infotainment system, this is new for the 2022 SL, and the main thing about this is that you can change the display angle. The reason it flips up so far is that when you have the roof off, you can have this at an angle where the sun has reduced glare. I personally don't like it this much in the open top setting, but it is a good thing when you are driving. You also have the infotainment volume knobs over here, your parking cameras, as well as your vehicle settings. For example, your heads-up display, which does function really, really well, along with the front end lift system, your Parktronic, and your tow-away alarm as well. These are all active when the vehicle is turned on. For example, if I did want to see where my cameras are showing, I can press this button, and since the right door is open, this is blocked off, but you can see that there is a really, really nice 3D view of the vehicle. I wish it did show the actual color of the vehicle. You can see the extra SL from the older generation parked up there, a nice GLS, a Civic with a really nice exhaust system, and an S-Class on some 22-inch wheels. You also have the side camera, which is not open because the door is open, the rear view camera, and the front view camera as well, all really, really helpful. Going back to the home, you have the 3D maps, which are really, really snappy. I like the way that these are modernized. You also have the vehicle destination settings, which you can search for things, and that is pretty much the gist of it. Taking the top on and off, you go into this setting, and you can swipe it to have the soft top in operation like so. The one thing I don't like about it, like I said earlier, is that you have to keep it held, but otherwise in 15 seconds this thing is going to be completely set for you. And the system will prompt you. The only thing I don't like about it is that you have to manually flip up the buttons, and the rear ones don't actually go up by themselves. You have to hold them up. But this is a cabriolet, a soft top at that. The previous generations did have some hard tops, but I cannot complain because this is better for weight distribution and overall weight as well. The modernized MBTEX system, or MBUX system, is not my favorite because I feel that the square design isn't the best, although we do get a relatively widescreen Apple CarPlay with this. On the interior of the portion, you have a wireless car charger, a home style outlet, which is a plug-in into the cigarette port, 2 USB-C ports, and 2 relatively small cup holders. Inside the cubby, you have another pad with 2 USB-C inputs, and it's not the biggest, but it's not bad. You also have this palm resting area to rest while you drive on the canyons, especially with your rear wheel steering, which turn up to 2.5 degrees towards the direction of the wheels at higher speeds. I'm guessing above 50 miles an hour, and against the rear wheels at speeds below 50 miles an hour. Going into the comfort settings.
Mercedes-Me settings to use online functions of the voice system.
And then there's the voice system, which never works properly. These seats have the active contouring and the massage settings as well, meaning that the massaging features can massage your lower back, upper back, and your overall spine when you're cruising on Angel's Highway. But the thing I like is that the side bolsters can get really, really aggressive or really, really comfortable, and in my opinion, this is probably the best part of the seats themselves. You also have the ambient light settings over here, which you can change the colors to, snap to it very, very quickly, change the brightness and the effect they give off as well. There is also a multicolor setting, which isn't my personal favorite, but if you like 2 colors at once, those are for you. Overall, it's not a bad system, but I like the previous generation one better. I also don't like this display setup because it makes the start-stop button really far and hard to reach. If you're wearing a watch, for say on your right hand side, if you are left-handed, then you're probably going to smack it constantly. Overall, it's not a bad interior. I actually really like it. I just think that this screen is a little bit of a mild inconvenience. If they had it like the original one, where there's two displays right next to each other and a big center console right over here, like the AMG GT has, it'd be much better. But without further ado, let's take this vehicle for a drive and I'll give you my driving impressions.
Here we are driving the 2022 SL63, and right off the bat into this turn you can feel the rear wheel steering kick in. With the rear wheel steering against the front wheels, the turning radius decreases by 2.6 feet by that 2.5 degree turn, and I think that's very helpful, and it makes the car feel a lot more nimble than it is. Surprisingly, with the top up, the wind noise in the cabin really isn't too bad. I was expecting a lot worse, and the AMG GT 4-door, it is atrocious for whatever reason. I believe it's because of the front end aerodynamics. Going around 35 miles an hour, gonna pop it into Sport Plus mode and wait for those very nice valves to open on the exhaust and allow us to fully experience the 4-liter V8. We'll follow this with a quick acceleration. Nice little pop there. It was only about a 6th throttle acceleration, nothing too crazy, and it remained in the same gear, which is interesting with that 9-speed. This turn here is taken usually at a higher speed, but with this car I wanted to play it safe. Nothing too crazy, but it does feel very planted. This is definitely a canyon carver. Here we'll get a bit more on throttle going back. The pops on this vehicle are very nice in Sport Plus and track mode, as you can see by the reaction. Aside from that, the stiffening on the suspension is relatively stiff. It does get stiffer in Sport Plus than it is in comfort mode. You can change these in the vehicle settings as well. Overall, I think it performs really well. Very planted vehicle as you'd like in an SL, and overall driving impressions, definitely one of the best cars I've driven.
And that is the complete review on this absolutely stunning 2022 Mercedes AMG SL65. And I think this is a really good vehicle if you have enough money to spend on it, because the price tag on this as it is configured is $200,400. After tax, you're looking at around $250,000. And the thing is that this vehicle, based on its segment, doesn't really compare that well, because the Porsche 911 Carrera 4S Cabriolet is the main competitor for this in terms of its performance. But when you look at price, the main competitor then becomes the 911 Turbo S Cabriolet, and that blows the doors off this because the 0 to 60 is a second quicker than this. The other thing about its competition is that the Aston Martin V8 Vantage Cabriolet also falls into this category, but it is a second slower. The thing is that it uses the same engine. It has the same M178 or M177 bi-turbo V8 engine and a very similarly tuned infotainment system and driving dynamics. So would you want a better interior for the same price but a little bit slower? This really isn't all about speed and power when you think about it, because it is technically a cruising vehicle. Personally, I would definitely love this vehicle, especially in this configuration as is. I feel if you did want the Magna white paint, it would look even better, because the bottle lines would definitely pop. I think that this is a good buy. If you are in the market for one of these vehicles, definitely check them out. Thank you very much for watching. Please do consider subscribing, and remember to keep on driving.